Ready? Okay.
Sorry, recording. Yeah.
Hey Sri Lanka, so this is the very cool Vineeth Vincent, VMC, beatboxer from India. Big up to Julius for like the hookup, man. Yos.
That's a very bad whatever that was. Okay,
Yeah, but
hi.
hey,
Yeah.
hi.
Hi.
So tell me about you, the human, the beatboxer, the MC
human.
and entrepreneur.
The human, the beatboxer, the MC, and the entrepreneur. So, where do you want to start? What do you want to start with?
Tell us about you.
Tell us about me. I'm exactly 175 centimeters tall. I weigh approximately 60 kgs, approximately, I'm not too sure. I've been putting on a little bit of a paunch of recent. And I'm currently wearing chappals. You want to get a shot of my chappals? And they're damn cool because they're like Star Wars chappals and they're like different colors.
Damn.
One's Darth Vader, obviously, and the other is obviously...
So you did like a pair,
Huh?
you did like a pair swap.
Yeah,
Because why not, right?
they're Hawaiianas. They're cool like
When
that.
in a tropical country, just
Yep.
be free and all that.
It's extremely humid, it's extremely hot. I've been sweating my off. We can beep that part, you know, and people can get creative with that bit. But it's extremely hot here in Sri Lanka, and you say it's not, and you say it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
So we should scoot very quickly before it gets hotter.
Before May.
Before May.
Yeah.
Leave before May. Yeah. So hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Not dead.
Have you had your coffee yet? Have you had your tea? No, nothing.
Coffee?
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, coffee. Yes, very nice, very nice. How about breakfast?
Breakfast, really? Let's
Okay.
get to know you.
Okay, so me.
Actually.
Okay, hi. How are you? My name is Vineeth Vincent. So I'm from Bangalore. I started off my career as an MC in 2007, and I slowly moved to beatboxing in 2008. I've been working with event management, artist management, that sort of thing since, let's say, 2005. My first job was with a gaming company actually in 2005. It was when I was still a kid, about 15 years
Right.
old. I was 15 years old. And it's been an amazing journey so far. The scene in Bangalore, the scene in India is really good when it comes to musicians, when it comes to beatboxers. It is difficult, but it is still good at the end of the day. So I've been making a living out of beatboxing since 2008.
Whoa, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's been a comfortable living. I haven't been struggling as much as most people do. So I think of myself as lucky, and it's been fun so far. And this is my first time in Lanka, and I'm loving the place. Your roads are so clean. Your pathways are so clean. You have footpaths, which is amazing. It's like unseen of, unheard of.
In India.
I mean, some parts of India have good infrastructure, but a majority is nothing like this. And your infrastructure is so good. Like your roads are so good. We thought it was only going to be from the airport to the city, but we went to the tiny little roads,
Right.
and it was good. And I was so surprised. But your standard of living is also quite high, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, but you still do have a bunch of supercars and like your fancy cars and people driving around, which is...
Oh, you need to go out of Colombo, man.
Yeah?
You will see magic there.
Okay.
So what got you into beatboxing, man?
Well, I used to be the guy with the guitar, and I used to sing.
What?
Yeah, in fact,
Whoa, what a
Julius...
transition then.
Yeah, so Julius and I did a gig last night where I sat and played the guitar. I sang, he played the keys, he sang, and it was a lot of fun. This was at Surya Village.
Okay.
Amazing gig. I mean, that setting, it was so nice. And so I started off as the guy with the guitar. I tried singing, I tried writing my own music. 1 year into it, 2 years into it, I realized I'm not making any money. I'm spending more than I'm making. And I was in this little rat race of trying to make it. But the trying to make it was just getting paid.
Right.
So I realized that's not working for me. And I used to work these odd jobs as an artist promoter, as an event promoter. And one day someone walked up to me and said, why don't you speak decent English? Why don't you pick up the mic and make these announcements? Because the MC wasn't there. And I picked it up. I was super comfortable on stage. I spoke, things went really well. And then one thing led to another. I became an MC, like a full-time MC. This is in 2007. And then in 2008, I sort of started fooling around with sounds. Actually, this also happened in 7 because I had a lot more access to the mic
Right.
and big speakers and fancy sound systems. So I started fooling around with the mic, and the little musician, the guy who they refused to let play and sing, sort of started coming out on the mic. And it was a nice little transition where I was making these stupid sounds and they were musical. And in 2007, we had dial-up connections. So we didn't have access to the internet, we didn't have access to videos and all of that, right? So there was no YouTube to go and learn beatboxing. So I didn't even know what beatboxing was. But one day at a gig when I was making these stupid sounds, someone walked up to me and said, "That's some cool beatboxing," an American guy. And I didn't even know the word before.
Right.
So I've heard of it, but I didn't know it's an actual thing. And then I go online on my little dial-up connection in the internet parlor and I check, and turns out there were no beatboxers in India, and turns out this is legit career,
Whoa.
right? So I couldn't find any other beatboxers in India. So this is sort of your 2007-ish, and 2008 Jan I did my first gig. March was when things got really serious. So Jan was when I knew this was going to work, 2008. The whole of Jan and Feb, I just practiced and practiced. I made a little set. By March, I was already touring because I got in touch with all the guys I used to work with, the event managers, the artist managers. I told them, "Listen, I want to do this. Do you think it can work?" And I sent them a little demo. They're like, "You know what, this is actually super cool. Let's start pitching it at super low cost." And we did, and it turns out the first March, my entire month was packed. I did 35 shows my first month.
Whoa.
My second month was approximately 30 gigs, and my third month was 32 shows. But by then, I sort of stressed my voice out, and by the end of those 3 months, my voice had gone kaboom. And I think, so even now I suffer from issues because I stressed my voice out in the beginning of my career. But there's nothing that can be done about it.
Yeah.
It's not like I had people to reference, I had people to learn from, so it had to be done.
But you did it, and
Yeah.
somehow 10 years down the line, you have a name.
Yeah, yeah.
And would you call yourself the first beatboxer from India? How would you describe yourself as a beatboxer?
As a beatboxer, so I'm definitely not the most talented beatboxer. I'll give you that in writing. But I do have what I believe is the largest market in India.
Okay.
I think I travel the most. I think I get paid the most as of now. There are lots of very, very cool beatboxers coming into the circuit, and they are super, super, super talented because they're starting off now, and they have so many beatboxers as a reference, and they also have YouTube. They also have Facebook. So they learn from each other, they learn off YouTube. There are countless beatbox tutorials online. So these guys are phenomenally way better. But they still have a long way to go in terms of working on their sets, but they're almost there. They're almost there.
And are you like teaching them, showing them the art of beatboxing?
Well, it's more like they teaching me the art of beatboxing right now, but I'm sort of trying to help them with their business acumen.
Right.
So I'm trying to get them booked. I'm trying to teach them what works, what doesn't work, because I think as artists, a lot of us tend to get caught up with the art itself, with being extremely good. So I sort of break that where I go into the marketing side of things, the business side of things, because I'm more of an entrepreneur, less of an artist.
Right.
So that's the route I've taken to sort of succeed with beatboxing so far. So that is something that I help them with.
Nice.
Yeah.
Also, you have like a few records.
Yeah, so they're not my records, but I directed them.
Okay.
This happened in 2011.
No, I meant your Guinness World records.
Yeah. So the Guinness World Records, I was a director for the world's largest beatbox ensemble.
Okay.
It's teaching the most number of people how to beatbox and getting them to beatbox in perfect unison for the longest duration.
Whoa.
So the first record with Guinness was set at 1,246 people beatboxing at the same time. The second record was set at 146 people beatboxing at the same time.
Whoa.
And we set this at Christ University in Bangalore, and I was from that college, alumni of that college, and the management was super supportive when I came to them with the idea and said, listen, I want this much of money, these many lakhs to do this, and they're like, oh, interesting, yeah, go ahead. And so a few months later we had the record.
Wow.
Both records.
What's the other record?
Both of them. So one was with Guinness and the other was
right.
with Lanka. So
okay,
one
Lanka
beat the other.
is-
So Lanka is like a Guinness, but it's like an Indian version of it, and we've had it
Okay.
for a very, very long time now. So it's a very Indian specific.
Recognized on a national level, all
It
that,
is.
all
It
that?
is. It is.
Okay.
It is.
So what's the beatboxing scene like in Bangalore or in India?
The beatboxing scene in India is huge. In fact, we've brought Julius down a few times to India. He's toured across India with me. He's toured by himself. My company brings him down to actually do these gigs in Bangalore. Recently, he was at Nagaland.
Yes,
Yeah.
last year, right?
Yeah, last year, this year.
That's a
last
good
year?
question. I
Whoa.
think it was last year.
I think it's
in
last year.
December.
Fine, funny. Seems
I
like
think-
it was just.
I think.
Yeah, it was last year. So, yeah, so he was with me in Nagaland, where we were supposed to have 5 judges from across the world, 5 different countries. So I represented India, he represented Sri Lanka. We had someone coming from the States, we had someone coming from someone supposed to come in from France, but he couldn't make it, and he's the current world champion. And we also had someone coming from Switzerland, I think. Yes, Switzerland. So there were 4 of us though, representing different countries, and we had India's first ever beatbox championship, so the Indian Beatbox Championship, where we named one Indian the first ever beatbox championship. So I think that's huge for India,
Yeah,
like to do it on a national scale. And that guy won, I think, 50,000 Indian rupees, which means 1 lakh Sri Lankan. And he also won a beatbox mic worth Indian 18,000 rupees. So that's about, you can do the
Yeah,
math,
double
right?
that.
It's double that. He also won a bunch of other goodies, and he gets to hold the title of India's best beatboxer. So, given that events like that happen, I think we are far ahead in the scene. We still have a long way to go, but considering beatboxers have just been around for what, 7 years? I think 7 years, yeah.
Relatively.
Yeah, relatively 7-8 years.
In Asia.
Yeah, we're very new in Asia. I mean, this part of Asia.
Yeah.
I would say this part of Asia. It's a very, very new art, and we're still learning. We're all babies right now. So we're just infants, and we still have such a long way to go. But as of now, Bangalore is super. I think we have not just one of the most number of beatboxers in India, but I think we also have some phenomenal talent, because 2 Bangaloreans placed 3rd. They tied at 3rd at this championship.
Okay.
The first place was taken by Bombay, the second place was taken by Delhi. And they have some amazing talent also. We have talent from Calcutta. The northeast is just mind-blowing, which is where it happened actually. It happened in the northeast of India. And me as a hardcore Indian and a hardcore Bangalorean, I never thought the first ever beatbox championship would happen in Nagaland. But it did. And that goes to show that beatbox is just taking over the country in such big
Nice.
ways.
And so what's the future like? Do you see maybe that competition coming to Sri Lanka? Do you plan on expanding it, or do you still have some groundwork to do in India before you actually take off?
So I have met, let's say, 2 or 3 beatboxers in Sri Lanka, apart from Julius. I haven't yet had the opportunity to hang out with them, understand their background, their beatboxing styles, their level of talent. I don't know how many beatboxers there are in Sri Lanka. So I think once I gauge something like that, we could figure out how to take it forward with Sri Lanka. But as of now, I think it's about getting people like Julius back to India, and someday this guy should be touring the world, because
Absolutely.
he's hands down one of the best I've ever seen. In fact, he's the best that I've seen so far in the entire Indian market. He beats every Indian beatboxer in India. So he should be touring the world someone like this should be having a full-fledged career just with beatboxing. I think we should probably start with what we have and then go on to understand what Sri Lanka is in terms of beatboxing and take it from there.
Absolutely. Dude, it was awesome like hanging out with you
Thank
and
you.
having this chat, and looking
Thank you.
forward to seeing, you know, the good art of beatboxing spread towards like our lands.
Definitely,
With
definitely,
untouched by the art.
definitely. Thank you so much for having me.
Anytime. Julius, hi. How's your